What's up guys, Jimmy here with another Lots Games video. I'm super excited. Today I'm going over with you guys the top 25 best-selling games from 1995 to 2019. Each year from whether 1995 to 2019, each year will have a game for the best-selling game of that year. Oddly enough, I do have to point this out. I will include a link in the video description below so you guys can check out this article of the best-selling games. Oddly enough, games like Final Fantasy VII and like Resident Evil 2 are not in this list. Other games just outsold the titles I'm going to share with you briefly. Let me know. I mean, this spans 25 years. It's crazy. A quarter of a century of games. And I just have to say, guys, I'm super excited not only for this new year, for 2020. We're getting new consoles. But I'm also excited for the decade to kind of think about that from 2020 to 2029. What innovations, what amazing games we're going to get. I am looking forward to it. But guys, let me know in the comment section below what some of your favorite games have been over the past 25 years. If you like this video, definitely slap that thumbs up button. Let's get started with 1995 best-selling game of that year, and that was Mortal Kombat 3. Now, I do have to point this out. You know, there were some great games that came out in 1995. Mortal Kombat 3 was an interesting one because it came out for the 16-bit consoles, but it also came out on the PlayStation 1. The PlayStation 1 really hadn't been out for that long, but it sold very, very well in 1995. Okay, at 1996, I'm so used to a list of, but we're going with years. In 1996, the best-selling game of that year was Super Mario 64. And of course, many of you guys realize, of course, this was an incredible, super revolutionary, took the world by storm. I think overall it sold around 11 million copies worldwide. And still to this day, I think just recently there was like a hack for Super Mario 64 where you can actually play the game in co-op now, which is awesome. I would love to see that kind of hack for the first Breath of the Wild game. But yeah, Mario 64, best-selling game for 1996. So 1997, we have Mario Kart 64. I'm a huge fan of the Mario Kart games. I remember playing the first one on the Super Nintendo. And, years later, one of my favorite racing games of all time is Mario Kart 8. I love that game. But Mario Kart 64, super fun, sold very, very well. Great game to play, especially if you have, friends over, and did very, very well. And at 1998, the Nintendo 64 continues to be strong. And in 1998 is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And of course, this one was also released a little while back on the 3DS. And I remember when, they were showing screenshots of this game before it got released, before Ocarina of Time got released. It was a really big deal. And when it got released, many people still this day, this is one of their favorite games of all time, and it sold very, very well. I remember the cool thing about Ocarina of Time is that there were people I would be, talking to that weren't really even into gaming, but that they had heard so many great things about this. They ended up buying a Nintendo 64. They ended up picking up the game. This was kind of like their first experience. A lot of people maybe got their first experience with Zelda, maybe with Link to the Past, or maybe the original on the NES. But this one actually did quite well for selling systems and selling a whole lot of games. For the year 1999, continuing with the Nintendo 64, Donkey Kong 64. And I, of course, played Donkey Kong in the arcades, but my love for the franchise really came with the Donkey Kong Country series. And this one was able to kind of get a little refinement and kind of like, a lot of people were like kind of on the fence. Do they like Mario 64 more? Do they like Donkey Kong 64 more? Which one do they like? But let me know, guys, in the comment section below. What do you prefer on the Nintendo 64? Do you like Donkey Kong 64 more or Mario 64 more, and why? So there you go. The best-selling game of the last year of the millennium was Donkey Kong 64. Okay, year 2000, another Nintendo 64 title, Pokemon Stadium. Now, even to this day, of course, there's just a huge, you think about the most popular franchises in the world, and of course, Pokemon is one of them. Whether they're playing this game on their smartphones, whether they're playing this game on their Game Boy or Game Boy Advance, or their Nintendo Switch, still this day, super popular. And back on Nintendo 64, this was no different at all. Pokemon Stadium did very, very well to start off the new millennium. Okay, no longer, at least for this year, Nintendo 64, for 2001, we have a sports title. Many of you probably know what it is, and that's Madden 2002. And at the time, this sucker was released on everything. It was on the PS2, GameCube, Xbox, PC, Game Boy Color. I take that back. It was also, Madden 2002 was also on the Nintendo 64. It was also on the Game Boy Advance. So you have all these systems. Of course it's going to sell a lot because, we just got a big fan base of Madden fans. So 2001, Madden 2002 was a big, big deal. Okay, at 2002, year 2002 was GTA Vice City. And the cool thing about this is that at the time, in 2002, Vice City wasn't on a million different consoles. It was only available on the PS2. And what's so powerful about this is that the PS2 really hadn't been out that long. It hadn't been out, 4 or 5 years. The PS2 really hadn't been out that long. But Vice City still ended up being the best-selling game of 2002, which is really, really impressive. Okay, in 2003, going back to football, we have Madden 2004, and this time around, it was not released on the Nintendo 64. So there you go, Madden 2004. So in 2004, we have another GTA game, and that is GTA San Andreas. And again, the GTA games through the years, whether it's on the PS3 or the PS4, measured on the PS5, we're going to get another title that's going to sell close to 20 million copies. We'll have to wait and see on that. But San Andreas, still to this day, is a lot of people out there, that is probably their favorite GTA title. And San Andreas in 2004 sold very, very well. Okay, in 2005, we have Madden 06. So you're starting to see a pattern here. In the beginning of this list, a lot of Nintendo 64 games. Now we're doing Madden GTA. So yeah, Madden 06 was the best-selling game of 2005. Okay, in 2006, Madden 07. So there's no reason really to drag it out. That's what it was. It is what it is, Madden 07. Okay, so the next one's going to be quite surprising to a lot of you guys. In 2007, this was a year, honestly, is one of the best years in gaming, in my opinion. This is the year that Call of Duty 4 got released, and a lot of other amazing games were released in 2007. But many of you guys might be surprised at this. The best-selling game of 2007 was Guitar Hero 3. And of course, with a lot of these other games in this list, Guitar Hero 3 was released on a lot of consoles. It was on the PS2, PS3, Xbox 360. It was on the Wii, which, remember, when the Wii's were released, that system sold like crazy. And if you think about, like, millions of families picking up the Wii. Oh, Guitar Hero 3? Yeah, let me get that. It was out for Windows. It was even... Guitar Hero 3 apparently was on the Mac. Mac OS 10. So there you go, Guitar Hero 3, the best-selling game of 2007. Kind of sad, but whatever. In 2008, the music rhythm game continues. is Rock Band. So Rock Band 2008, I remember in 2008 watching the Microsoft Xbox 360 press conference, and the first game they showed was Rock Band. I think it was Peter Moore. He was up on stage and he was playing the drums, and he was like, and that's how they started the show. And I was like, oh boy, this is going to be the show. It ended up being a good show from Xbox, but yeah, Rock Band, best-selling game of 2008. Okay, in 2009, here we go. It has begun. 2009, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and man, I remember. I mean, of course, this game was released on PC, did very well on PC, but when this was released on the 360 and PS3, holy cow, that's all like the gaming world was really talking about and covering. There was such an electric buzz. And Modern Warfare 2, of course, sold super, super well. 2009, there you go. 2010, Call of Duty Black Ops. The first, okay, of course, there's already been multiple games in the series. You know, we had two Black Ops games this generation, but the first Black Ops games in 2010 sold very, very well. Okay, in 2011, you have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and this was one that, of course, was kind of a mixed bag. Some people liked it a lot. Some people were like, yeah, this isn't as good as Modern Warfare 2. It's just, that's not that great. But yeah, Modern Warfare 3, the best-selling game of 2011. In 2012, the Call of Duty love continues. And in 2012, Black Ops 2 was the best-selling game of that year. And, you know, I just remember there was definitely a much more positive, outlook or outcome. The gaming world was, I think, a lot more positive on Black Ops 2 versus Modern Warfare 3. I really enjoyed the campaign of Modern Warfare 3. The multiplayer was like, you know, pretty much most of the same of what you'd expected. But Black Ops 2 definitely sold very well. Best-selling game of 2012. Okay, 2013, we have GTA 5. And so through the years, you know, GTA 5 is still being heavily supported by Rockstar. And Rockstar is just supporting the heck out of this game. Still doing very, very well. The game has brought in over $1 billion, maybe even $2 billion. I don't even know how much money this game has brought in through the years. But it might even be higher than that. It's just this, talk about lightning in a bottle. Amazing, amazing success. And it first came out in 2013. Okay, 2014, we have Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And this one I would say is definitely low on the totem pole for gamer love of all the games in the Call of Duty series. This one's definitely one of the lower ranked ones. Not so highly regarded in the gaming community. Advanced Warfare, it sold very well. I mean, heck, it was the best-selling game of 2014. But, you know, and this was an interesting time because, again, you have to remember that the Xbox One and the PS4 had not been out that long. I think it'd been out like around a year or even less than a year when Advanced Warfare came out. So a lot of gamers got a new system like, oh, sweet, new Call of Duty game. You know, the Call of Duty Ghost was like, meh. But, you know, this was definitely a game that was a mixed bag. But it was the best-selling game for 2014. Okay, 2015, we have Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Pretty much across the board, everyone agreed this is an amazing, amazing Call of Duty game. So much content, so much to it. Amazing story, multiplayer, and of course you've got a lot of zombie fighting action. And overall, Black Ops 3 was just an amazing, amazing package that people still play to this day. So the best-selling game of 2016 is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, and this one probably is definitely in the top 3 of, you know, lowest regard or most hated Call of Duty games. I'm sure there's some people that like Infinite Warfare. Main two things I remember about Infinite Warfare is that they had an option where you could get the deluxe version, or a version that included a remastered version of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And also, of course, I remember Infinite Warfare had where Conor McGregor was in the game. But definitely, this is the crazy thing about this whole series. You know, think about all the great games that came out in 2016. This was the best-selling game of 2016. And still, according to Activision, they were kind of disappointed with the sales. The sales weren't as good as what, you know, they'd hoped for. And with that whole thing, I'm sure, of course, it was just that the word got out quickly. People, of course, bought it. It was the best-selling game. But people kind of like that week, or maybe the following week, they were hearing the feedback, reading the reviews. They're like, thanks, but no thanks. And so, again, best-selling game, but definitely super, super low on the totem pole in regards to quality gaming, or a quality Call of Duty game. The best-selling game of 2017 was Call of Duty World War II. And this one, again, I see with Call of Duty, not so good game. Next year, okay, much better game. Call of Duty World War II got a much better reaction, and it sold very, very well. Best-selling game of 2017. And there were a lot of great games that came out in 2017, and Call of Duty was the best-selling one for that year. Okay, 2018, we are getting a break from Call of Duty games, and the best-selling game in 2018 is Red Dead Redemption 2. And of course, you know, at the time, it was just released on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Sold very well. Reviewed very, very well. It's like, I think it's the GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 are like the highest rated games on the PS4 and Xbox One. But I'm trying to think which one's won. I think Red Dead Redemption 2, I think it might be the highest rated game on the PS4. Sold very well, and it is the best-selling game for 2018. Okay, so the final game on this list, best-selling game for 2019, is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And so you kind of see a pattern. In the beginning of this list, you had Nintendo 64 titles, and then you had Madden games, you had GTA games, and then you've got a bunch of Call of Duty games, and then, you know, that one you've got, but it is a Rockstar game, so you do have to say it's a Rockstar game, Red Dead Redemption 2, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, it was reviewed very well, sold very, very well, and a lot of people picked it up, really, really enjoyed it. So there you go, guys, the top 25 best-selling games for the past 25 years, for the past quarter of a century. And again, I'm super excited about this coming year for games. And let me know, guys, what you're most looking forward to. And for the past 25 years, what have been some of your favorite titles that you have enjoyed and games that you continue to go back to? As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later.